So you can't decide between AirPods Pro or AirPods Max. Now, that is something I can help you with. And being totally honest with you, until last month, not only didn't I own a pair of AirPods Max, but I thought they were an overpriced, overhyped, shiny gadget. I thought they were headphones for those that had more money than sense. A few weeks ago, I was asked to join Hartley and Dan on their MacRumors podcast. The brief was we were going to talk about Apple's audio products. Slight problem. I didn't have a pair of AirPods Max. Now, MacRumors is quite a big deal, so I thought rather than looking like a complete chump or just bluffing it for an hour, I'd actually go out and buy a pair. I've seen more and more people use them in town. Even podcasters are wearing them now, but there was one big problem, and that is they're expensive. Very expensive. They cost $550. That's more than I've spent on any of my studio headphones, and I couldn't help but coming back to my point that they were surely overpriced. But I'll come back to that later on. After buying the AirPods Pro Max, it meant I'd now have the full set of Apple's audio gear. HomePod Minis, a full-sized HomePod, a pair of AirPods Original, and both first and second gen AirPods Pro. But it also gave me a dilemma. It means I now have to choose which pair of AirPods I reach for first, Max or Pro. AirPods are my most used bit of Apple tech by far. But in this video, I wanted to strip away the hype and work out, are they actually worth it? Are they good headphones? And could I, hand on heart, recommend that you buy a pair? Both the Pros and the Max are good, but as a word of caution from me to you, they're not flawless. Both have strengths and weaknesses. I kind of had to buy them for what I do here on the channel and because of that podcast. But I'm guessing if you're watching this video, then you're probably looking to make a choice between one or the other, between the Pros and the Max. Obviously, the bottom line is they are two very different beasts for different users. One pair are tiny in-ear buds that are ultra discreet and mobile, whilst the other are big, bold, brash, and in your face, a real statement. So let me see if I can't help and explain where you should place your hard-earned pounds or dollars and why. By this point, you're probably wondering which pair would best suit you, and I promise we'll get to that later. Starting with AirPods Max, the first question you should be asking yourself is how often do you use your current headphones? To make buying a Max worthwhile, you'll need to be a daily user, and better still is if you use a pair for hours each day. With the Max, what you'll notice first is the way they deliver active noise cancelling or ANC. Obviously, the Max have a huge advantage over the Pros with this, as well the cups cover your ears, so the job is already half done before we get onto all the clever electronic wizardry. A while back, some users felt that an update a year or so back had ruined ANC on the Max. Forums were alight with reports that noise cancelling had been watered down. Obviously, I didn't have a pair back then, but my experience of ANC on the Max has been nothing but positive. If anything, it's too good. With ANC on, you are so isolated. It's almost eerie. You're really in your own little world. You'll hear literally nothing from outside. And while that sounds cool, after a while, it can be almost too much. It's that effective. Whereas with AirPods Pro, I always leave ANC switched on. With the Max, I switch back and forth between the bat and transparency mode. Don't forget, guys, if you're oddly enjoying these weekly videos I'm making, then show it and let me know by giving the videos a like. It makes a huge difference to getting this and other videos of mine out in front of new people. And if you are one of those new people, hello, welcome. It's lovely to meet you. If you aren't subscribed yet, that one simple click will really help me and the channel out. I love making these videos for you, and by liking and subbing, you're making it that bit easier for me to carry on doing just that. And if you want to try it before you buy, then check out some of these other videos and playlists on the channel. Unlike the Pros, AirPods Max are still on their original production run, which means they're nearly 3 years old. Coming with a hefty $550 price tag, the over-the-ear headphones share many of the features with the smaller earbuds like ANC, head tracking, spatial audio, Siri compatibility, and auto switching. But I know what you're thinking. Can they really be worth that extra money? Just a touch under 400 grams, AirPod Max are hefty. You certainly know that you've got them on. The eye-catching design of the Max also makes them quite an unwanted visual target. Whereas the buds sit in ear, almost out of sight, Max shouts that you have a pair of $550 headphones on. And I don't know if it's just me, but that makes me feel pretty uneasy. I only bought my first pair of AirPods Pro 6 months before the second gen were announced last fall, but I was so impressed by them that the promise of what the newest pair had to offer was enough for me to quickly hand over just another $250. Didn't bat an eyelid. At last autumn's iPhone 14 event, Apple unveiled AirPods Pro 2 with the promise of improved ANC and both better battery life and in-ear detection. Along with those tweaks and improvements, there were also some brand new features too. Volume controls were finally added to the stems of the earbuds, and there was another layer of audio protection with adaptive transparency. And precision finding was added in thanks to the H2 chip to help find lost or missing AirPods. The fit of both pairs of AirPods are good, but not without their problems. As far as the earbuds go, even with the array of 4 sizes of interchangeable silicone ear tips that you now get with Pro 2, they still don't fit as well as the original pair of basic AirPods that I used. The longer stems of those just seem to offer an improved balance and fit. They just stay put better, basically. With the Pro 2, I found myself continually fiddling with them and reseating them. I've done all the in-ear fit tests that is part of AirPods Pro's setup, but even so, there's still that feeling that they could fall out. Well, if you get that feeling too, trust me, you're not alone. It happens to me, and that feeling always seems to be more noticeable in one ear rather than the other. For me, the left ear always feels that little bit more loose. The skin detect sensors work brilliantly on AirPods Pro 2. The moment they detect a break of contact, the audio cuts, and this feature is noticeably better on the AirPods Pro 2 than that original pair that I bought just a few months earlier. Once they are snugly in though, they feel great. They offer a surprising amount of noise reduction and filtering from the real world. The ANC is surprisingly effective, and I also love that new adaptive transparency mode too. If you live in a town or a city or regularly commute, adaptive transparency is like a touch of magic. It kind of kicks in and works without you even being aware of it, attenuating loud explosive noises in real time before you hear them. Not only is that good for a better listening experience, but it's also protecting your hearing. So it's a case of win-win. The fit of the Max is not quite what I'd expected. The sheer weight in both of them means they have a very secure feel to them, but even with this beautifully made mesh headband, the balance is it's somehow off. To me, they just seem to feel like they want to tip forwards all of the time, even when I'm just sitting on the sofa. It's not a movement-related thing, but more of a weight distribution thing. The ear cups also fall short of perfect. They seem too straight. They don't curve enough around the lower part of your head. It's odd and quite hard to describe, but they just don't feel finished, which is a shame, as the top part, the fit around the top part of the ear is as good as any headphones that I've used. The engineering of the stems or legs is perfect though. Beautiful engineering showing Apple at their very best. As I mentioned, AirPods Max will soon be 3 years old. They need a refresh. They need to be brought up to date. The $300 cheaper earbuds have the newer 5.3 Bluetooth codec, adaptive transparency, conversation boost, the later H2 chip. I'll come on to the audio later, but in part, their amazing sound is down to another innovation, that new exclusive high excursion driver, which features a high dynamic range amplifier. Now, just for a moment, imagine that inside of AirPods Max. Apple's premium pair of headphones are showing signs of aging. They require a 2023 makeover and a facelift. I just wish they could do the same for me. I mentioned earlier that Pro 2 now has volume adjustment on the stems. For me, it's too fiddly. I use it sometimes, but more often than not, I still reach for the phone. The stems are so small that the flick you have to do to move the volume up and down, it's just weird. And certainly if you're running or walking, moving of any kind, it's a tough ask. On the Max, the volume is adjusted using this crown. Whilst it's large, prominent, and easy to find and use, it's in the wrong place. It'd be far better positioned in front of the chrome leg rather than behind it. Battery life on both pairs of AirPods is good. With some kind of noise cancelling switched on, you'll get around 20 hours with the Max and 5 hours or so on the Pros. Charging is rapid on both pairs. The fact you have the option to charge the Pro 2 on a MagSafe puck is handy, and yet another area that the Max will need to be brought up to date with, and very soon. As it stands, the Lightning cable port on the Mac will soon be out of line with the imminent EU regs that are coming into play next year. Like it or not, Apple will have to bring either USB-C or MagSafe to AirPod Max within a year. That could also mean a new case too. It's so hard to describe audio to you on a video. With all the compression that will take place between me recording here in the studio and you listening to it, nothing can replicate accurately the sound I'm hearing. If it helps though, they're not bass heavy like Beats or neutral like these biodynamic studio headphones. With the over-ear experience of the Max, there is such a lovely clarity to the mids. Keeping it jargon-free, the mids are where the vocals and voices sit, so voices shimmer and shine on the Max. A real pleasure to listen to. Apart from their sheer portability and usability, the audio improvements made on AirPods Pro 2 makes them a serious contender to their bigger and more expensive brother. The new driver and combination of inward and outward facing mics cuts out so much unwanted noise that it means you don't lose any audio. It's still amazing to me what they've managed to achieve on these tiny little second-gen earbuds. Yes, the Max are better, but $300 better? AirPods Pro 2 deliver unmuddied, clear quality audio, but here's the thing, they do it for half the price and can be worn everywhere. They've improved the water and sweat resistance, making them even more useful. They really can be worn and listened to anywhere. That's when it struck me though, AirPods Max are unfinished business. From a sound perspective, AirPods Max deliver, and for serious audio listening, they are the pair I'd understandably reach for every time. But AirPods Pro 2 have shown us what Apple is capable of and how much their audio design and audio engineering has improved over the past 3 years. There have been rumours that a new pair of Macs are coming, possibly as early as next year. Let's hope that the Max doesn't go the same way as the Mac Pro and become an overpriced, outdated showcase for Apple. AirPod Max are basically good. They just need bringing up to date with a few features lifted straight from AirPods Pro 2 and a couple of design adjustments. AirPods Max could easily be the perfect headphones. But as of right now, if I were you and I had to buy only one pair, with all the new features, new drivers, greater wearability, and the fact they're half the price, I would choose AirPods Pro 2 every time. Where's your money going though? Will you wait for the second gen AirPods Max to come out, whenever that is? Does that over-ear experience matter that much to you? Or with the audio being so good on both pairs, would the extra portability of the Pro 2 be enough for you? Let me know in the comments, guys, and I'll be back here with you next week.